So every once in a while there comes a show where you just can't explain the way it makes you feel. A show hits home so hard that words can't even to explain the way it makes you feel. That's how I feel about Gintama, and how I believe many people who watch Gintama feel about it. Gintama is an incredibly intriguing show as the way it flows and progresses is drastically different than any other show in anime out there. It can't be described as merely good or bad, but rather as an experience. Gintama is an experience every anime fan should at least try to know. For those of you who may not know, Gintama follows the life and adventures of Sakata Gintoki, a man from a mostly unknown past who runs an odd job business, along with a young Shima Shinpachi who looks up to him and called an alien from outer space. The setting takes place in Japan, where aliens have sort of taken over the world and integrated into society. The business he runs is, as it says, an odd jobs business where they take up any odd job given to them in order to make a profit. The jobs could be anything ranging from finding a lost cat to helping a homeless man with a sexual assault case to even protecting the prime minister of a country. It follows a mainly episodic flow, with each episode having little to no direct relationship with one another, which in itself is rare as most anime, especially shonen anime, utilize a continuous story format of each episode seamlessly flowing to the next. Now I'll be the first to admit that this episodic story format, especially for a long-running show, isn't the easiest to get into. Hell, even the first 2 episodes are filler, which shows you just how long of a ride you're in for. However, these first few episodes are the most integral part of the story. It sets up every important character and lays out a groundwork for their personality, so you can see how they've evolved since then. I refer to them as the first few episodes. I actually mean the first 50 to 60 episodes, as the first serious arc doesn't begin until the mid-60s. While slowly introducing characters throughout these first 60 episodes, you have moments where nothing of a substance is occurring, and the characters are just vibing. There's just one episode dedicated to beetle hunting because Kagura wanted to, but it does serve the purpose of giving exposure to these characters and putting them in situations where they can interact with their surroundings and other people in the most natural way the show can muster, a slice of life scenario. By giving characters free reign of their actions, free of plot manipulation, they end up countering different characters in the cast as they require a lot of characters. They are making some actual genuine connections and dialogue, like how Zenzo and Gintoki only met because they both wanted the last issue of Shonen Jump in the story. These episodes are so important towards the build-up for the story, but I'm not going to sell them as they're very enjoyable. Being a comedy anime, you'd expect it to be consistently funny, however in the beginning the jokes are predominantly Japan-based, meaning that it's sort of an inside joke that you'll only ever understand half of. To me, this took away from enjoyment as the biggest picture of the show was comedy, and I couldn't even get the references half the time. The show does get better with this issue as it progresses, and even though it wasn't too bad due to an excellent cast of voice actors with impeccable comedic timing. On that side, you might find yourself in a rut going through so many episodes of nothing too important happening. I had that issue too, as I felt nothing was really holding my attention consistently, but I assure you it is worth the investment. Once you finally hit episode 60, you'll be greeted with the first series battle arc, the Benizaku arc, and compared to what came before it, it'll hit even harder than it's supposed to. The Benizaku arc is just an indication of what Gintama can truly offer in terms of battle, and it only gets better from there. After that, you'll find serious arcs a lot more consistently, and each one better than the last, where all the groundwork the show has set up comes to fruition. But before we talk about that, let's discuss the show's predominant feature, its comedy. As I said, the first few episodes focus on more local references, which sort of alienate the foreign viewers, but the show does work on this issue, and later episodes makes much more known references and thrive off character interactions. Because if you didn't know, half the comedy comes from delivery, and these characters know how to deliver lines. All the build-up allows for characters to always piggyback off each other no matter who is on screen. They've all interacted with each other before, so they always know how to respond to each other. The show has an abundance of jokes and references, and it assures you that you end up laughing at least once every episode. It also thrives on breaking the fourth wall, as characters sometimes talk directly to the viewers, or straight up reference a real-life occurrence. The show's always talking about how they might be taken off air either due to low viewership or just a lack of budget, and start insulting the industry as a whole. Overall, the comedy of the show is golden and doesn't insult the comedy tag. Running for over 360 episodes, you're bound to find jokes that'll kill you with laughter like no other show would. Now, when it comes to explaining why the show is amazing as it is, I must put heavy emphasis on the serious arcs. No other show exhibits such emotion and heart as Gintama in the heat of the moment. You'll meet characters you don't find interesting, characters you'd rather never met, but once those gears are turning and you know tensions are rising, every character rises to the occasion. Those countless episodes setting a groundwork for the story will reward you for watching them. The raw emotions these characters possess is incredible, and you'll be hard pressed to not feel involved in the moments. If there's one Gintama does better than any other show, it's getting you to care and love for these characters. Each episode's crafted to get you attached to every single character one by one. Every joke, every seemingly insignificant moment is made for you to think back to when everything goes wild. Every character is nuanced and developed to the point where you can see the development in action, Like on the Benazaka arc, someone points out how scared unskilled Apache swordplay is, but one of the later arcs we see him able to knock out capable warriors with the back of his blade with no attention ever brought to it. He never went through an outright training arc, but we see him slowly progress through the show to get to the point where he's at, and no one needs to bring it up because they've all been with him on this journey to this point. And every character develops in a similar fashion, where they start at one point and develop until the very end. The show is just so good in almost every regard, and this is without bringing up the lessons you'll learn along the way, and without bringing up arguably one of the greatest characters ever made, Sakatsuki Gintoki. This show would not be nearly as good as it is without this gem of a character. He's a man whose character is slowly revealed as the show progresses. From the majority of it, we don't know anything about his past or background. We just see him as some bum trying to make ends meet in a dead-end business with an unreasonably high battle potential. He's sarcastic, petty, a scary cat, selfish, seemingly prideless, irresponsible, and lazy, but we love him nonetheless, and because we know we need him to come through, he will. He cares for everyone around him and keeps his positive outlook in life because he's been through it. He knows to enjoy life and always to smile and to keep moving forward. As the show progresses, only then do we get to put the pieces of his story together, meaning for a large portion of the show, we really don't know much about the character we're following, making his actions that much more unpredictable and that much more enjoyable as a result. Though if there's one thing I can tell you about getting into the show is that even though the battle arcs are some of the greatest and most emotional arcs you'll ever see, it's never viewed as show as a battle shonen. That's because the show is really 75% comedy and 25% action. If you keep looking forward toward the good arcs, then you'll be missing on some great character building moments within the mundane episodes. You'll never actually see the value in them until they've already passed so you don't miss out on them. When you're watching it, consider it 360 episodes of a slice of life slapstick comedy, that way the action arcs hit harder. So if you've seen this video and taken up the arduous task of watching Gintama, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you did a good enough job selling the show because I really do think it is genuinely amazing. And if you're one of those people who couldn't make it to episode 60, then I can't really blame you. It isn't really too powerful of a pull, but if I can ask you to give it one more go, then I really think you should. It doesn't matter how long it takes, hell, even I had to take a break here and there to cool down. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen Gintama or if you plan to watch it. I really want to know your guys' thoughts on this show. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like. I'm aiming for the mighty 5 likes, so if I hit that, it would be amazing. And yeah, that's all for now. Later.